Morning, everybody. How you doing? Working our way through Holy Week. We've got as far as a Maundy Thursday the 9th of April 2020. We're looking at Jesus washing his disciples' feet. I'm going to read you from John chapter 13, verses 1 to 17, and we're going to jump on to 31 to 38. Here we go. Just before the Passover feast, Jesus knew that the time had come to leave this world and to go to the Father. Having loved his dear companions, he continued to love them right to the end. It was supper time. The devil by now had Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot, firmly in his grip, all set for the betrayal. Jesus knew that the Father had put him in complete charge of everything, that he came from God and was on his way back to God. So he got up from the supper table, set aside his robe, and put on an apron. Then he poured water into a basin and began to wash the feet of the disciples, drying them with his apron. When he got to Simon Peter, Peter said, "Master, you wash my feet?" Jesus answered, "You don't understand now what I'm doing, but it will be clear enough to you later." Peter persisted. "You're not going to wash my feet, ever." Jesus said, "If I don't wash you, you can't be part of what I'm doing." "Master," said Peter, "not only my feet then, wash my hands, wash my head." Jesus said, "If you've had a bath in the morning, you only need your feet washed now, and you're clean from head to toe. My concern, you understand, is holiness, not hygiene. So now you're clean, but not every one of you." He knew who was betraying him. That's why he said, "Not every one of you." After he had finished washing their feet, he took his robe, put it back on, and went to his place at the table. Then he said, "Do you understand what I have done to you? You address me as teacher and master, and rightly so. That is what I am. So if I, the master and teacher, washed your feet, you must now wash each other's feet. I've laid down a pattern for you. What I've done, you do." I'm only pointing out the obvious. A servant is not ranked above his master. An employee doesn't give orders to the employer. If you understand what I'm telling you, act like it and live a blessed life. When he had left, Jesus said, "Now the Son of Man is seen for who he is, and God seen for who he is in him. The moment God is seen in him, God's glory will be on display. In glorifying him, he himself is glorified. Glory all around. Children, I am with you for only a short time longer. You are going to look high and low for me, but just as I told the Jews, I'm telling you, where I go, you are not able to come. Let me give you a new command. Love one another. In the same way I loved you, you love one another. This is how everyone will recognize that you are my disciples, when they see the love you have for each other." Simon Peter asked, "Master, just where are you going?" Jesus answered, "You can't now follow me where I'm going. You will follow later." "Master," said Peter, "why can't I follow now? I laid down my life for you." "Really?" said Jesus. "You laid down your life for me. The truth is that before the rooster crows, you'll deny me 3 times. Let me give you my thought based on that first Maundy Thursday. After ordination, I spent 6 years as an assistant in Llantrisant, and one of the ladies there, Tina, would always greet me with a Cardiff welcome. "Hiya, E." Phonetically, "higher E," which translated means, "Hello, Ian." I was never Rev or Father, just "Hiya, E." Tina had that way of talking. Tina also had a few health issues and had beaten cancer once, none of which she ever told me. Her family filled me in on that. She'd often come to church or prayer group and really thought about her faith as she'd come to it in later life. One day, I was in my study and the phone rang. It was Tina with her usual welcome. I can't remember exactly what I was doing when I picked up the phone, but it was something that had my attention, like writing a sermon or something. Anyway, Tina asked me, "Ian, is heaven real?" To which I responded in a knee-jerk way, "Yes, of course it is. This Christian stuff is all real and it's all true." She seemed happy with that answer, and off she went, with me thinking no more of it. A few days later, I am contacted by the family to say that Tina is in hospital and that the cancer is back. She'd been ill for a good while apparently, but had sworn everyone in her family to utter secrecy, typical Tina. As I take in the news, it then hits me square on why she rang up out of the blue a few days previously and asked such a direct, basic question. She knew the end was coming, and she was just making sure. I went along to the hospital to see her. She was sitting up in bed and greeted me with the usual welcome, all full of smiles and humour. I said to her, "Tina, if only I'd known why you'd really rung me up on that day to ask that simple question, I'd never have given you such a short answer." We then had a really good chat and a pray, and over the next few weeks I watched as she gently slipped away. Having experienced my own short-sightedness with Tina's question and a million times in other situations, I'm happy to forgive Jesus' disciples their seeming blindness as his followers, especially their lack of understanding on that first Maundy Thursday, the gospel reading that we just heard. Jesus has gathered his disciples together as he's done many, many times before. They shared the Passover meal together. The gospel tells us of an upper room, there's feet washing, the first Last Supper is outlined in other gospels, and of Jesus declaring he's about to be betrayed and saying the words, "Where I go, you are not able to come." I don't think it was until later that evening when Jesus was actually betrayed by Judas and taken off that the disciples began to think about his words. I don't think it was until they saw him on the cross the next day that they really began to understand the enormity of what he was about. And I would bet money that it wasn't until the empty tomb on that Easter Sunday morning that any of them dared to believe that maybe, just maybe, everything Jesus said about earth and heaven might actually just be true. Some questions for you to ponder if you wish, completely voluntary. 4 of them based on the gospel and my thought for the day. Question number 1. Have you ever missed the point? Have you ever completely and utterly missed the point? Number 2. Have you ever got the point, but you deliberately ignored it, pretended you didn't understand? Number 3. Do you believe the things that Jesus said about heaven? Do you believe the things he said specifically about heaven? And number 4, is there anything you are going through that you need God's insight on? Anything that you want to ask him because you need his help to understand? I've got a song suggestion for you. The link is going to be in the YouTube description, and obviously it'll be on the download with all the text. The song is "God, I Look to You," and it's by Bethel Church United. Good one to listen to as you work through the questions. And to finish off today, a prayer. So hands together, close your eyes, let's pray. Dear God, thank you that even though the disciples did not get it at first, Jesus was not afraid to share with them the truth. Thank you that you long to have that straight-talking truth revealing relationship with each one of us. Amen. Till next time, keep safe, everybody.